So in the last class, we discussed about the layouts. Okay, so there is two record types with the same object. One is layout, second is the flyout. Okay, so in cards, basically these are the two things that we usually have. So let's discuss about flyouts today. But let's quickly recap what all the topics that we have discussed. Just a second, let me. So see what we have created in the last class was a basic layout, right? We have created a layout like this. There were three sections. This one is the header, footer, and this is the body. Okay, and here we have dragged one account component, and here we have shown all the contacts. That is what we have done in the last class. But in general, this header section we utilize to add some buttons. Okay, let me introduce the assignment also that I will create today in the LMS. You can now access after that. You need to create a layout of three things, which is this. Again, the same. This is header, body, footer. You can use the same layout that I have used. In the header part, you need to add some buttons. Okay, there will be basically two buttons. One is for one is for task, and other one is maybe you can create a custom object. Okay, for that, or maybe you can say account. Okay, these two things you need to create. This will be a button, and here you need to write a heading, which you need to display the account logged in user's name. Here you need to type the name of logged in user. Okay, and once you click on the task, here you need to display all the tasks assigned to the logged in user in the card view. Okay, there will be there will be one card which you use as a list, and then this card will render all the assigned tasks to that particular user. That's you need to do. Second, if you click on this account button, then instead of loading the task, you need to show all active accounts. Okay, all active accounts. So this is the basic structure of this. Is also a real scenario. In one of my project, I need to show the task, and one there is a custom object which is for approval purpose. First they need to view the task, and then when they click on the task, they need to basically show approve or rejected. So they also need to click on approved, and they need to see the all approved tasks that they have read. Okay, so this is the thing. The other thing that you need to do is when you click on that particular task, okay, there should be a different pop-up open which displays more detailed about tasks. Okay, so how we have learned this, right? We have learned how to create the templates, how to place the cards inside the templates, and how the card will able to handle the repetition part, right? So that we have discussed. But this new concept, when you actually need to click on a card and this open a small pop-up, and this pop-up is having all additional information related to that particular object or that particular task. This we will discuss today. This is what called flyouts. And why this flyout is actually created, let me give you that background also. See, in most of the time when you have a card, let's say this is our card, and here we will show some basic informations. Maybe let's say if it is account, we will show all details related to the accounts, right? Maybe 5 or 6 fields that are actually very required to in order to get this thing. We will show all those things here, right? But let's say I have a my layout is like this, where I have multiple accounts. Okay, this is a list. It's not a single account. This is a list, and there are, let's say, 10 accounts I need to display. So I'm displaying all those 10 accounts. But the requirement is we also need to display the contacts of those accounts. In that case, the approach that we have used here in this particular cards that we have created will probably not work. Why? Because we have hard coded, we have actually not hard coded, we are actually showing contexts like this. So if there are 10 accounts, then how this card will look like, right? The entire concept of card is to compact, to display more information in less space, right? So this is not something that is useful in that manner, right? We can actually click here also to check how the actual card is looking. Okay, so since here we are expecting two more accounts and here two more accounts, then how, which place we will display those contacts is something which is handled by flyouts. How basically it does is, you need to click on this card. When user click on any account, then there will be a pop-up screen will open, and that screen is able to show all the associated contacts related to that account. Okay, so this we will learn how we can do this type of approaches, and this is something which I discussed you need to do on the assignments that I will create today. Okay, so let's go back and check what all things we need to do. Let's first quickly recap on the last classes. I told you that the unique name of your particular flyout or card, it depends on the name and the author combination, right? Your author in the author you need to type your project name, and in the name you need to type actual name of your card. Okay, and then if it is we have discussed about the layout, right? So we have selected the layout, so this is a layout, and today we will select for layouts, and there you need to write any permissions which are required. This is not permission set, so yeah. Next is the template, which is the total, which this template is not something which tells you how this card gonna look like. This template is to tell how your entire page gonna look like 3-column layout or 2-column layout. Based on that, you will see design zone will be handled. Okay, whatever you have done here, the design zone will be handled. Next is the activation. We will today activate one card, and then we'll see. Same for enabling LWC, session variable, meta tags, and data sources. We have already discussed this, right? Now let's go and create another record, and this time we will use duplicate. Okay, this time we will use flexes, which is called flex cards, right? Layout I have flexes, flyouts, and here you need to use the name. So let's say this is all text info. This is what we want to use, and here we need to define the templates, right? So all flyout templates are starting with flyout. So if you select, they are flyout templates, right? In our purpose, we need to use grid action SLDs. This one, okay, and we can save it. Again, the concept remain the same. The name and the author will be unique, and we can't change it after the creation also, right? Next thing is you will see all the fields are same. Okay, whatever we have seen in our layout when we selected, all the fields and things are same, but in the data source there's something called parent. This is also there in the flyer also, but here we need to select parent because we want to govern everything through parent only. Okay, the parent means wherever this script or wherever this flyout get called, that same data will be passed here also. Okay, but for demoing purpose, let's say I'm using data raptor. We will use the same data raptor that we have used here, and I will show you how the accounts will look like. Sorry, contacts will look like, and then we will change it to normal to parent, right? So this is the name of the data raptor, and need to add input params. Same thing I'm using, account ID, params.id, right? And here you need to click the param and give a value so that we can actually check whether it is fetching the correct record or not. So this you always need to do even if you're working on a flyout also. So this, why I did it, because see the time when you are actually yeah, it is showing the data, right? It is correct. Actually the time when you are actually creating a flyout, you can't test without data. Okay, so the best way what I follow is I basically select data raptor, and whatever data that I'm expecting, I just pass the same here so that I can do my basic configurations. And once my configuration are done, I will then move it to parent. and then everything will be governed by parent only, right? But make sure whatever parent is having, you are calling the same thing here. Otherwise, you need to change the JSON and all, right? All right. So now let's click on the card, and here we need to create a card for displaying the flexes, right? So let's say here we want to add contacts info. Okay, and here you can see sorry. Then you can add it. Card with the similar name. Okay, then we can use account. Okay, it got created. Now what we need to do basically, we need to configure this thing. Here it is all looking fine. We can also check the data. It is coming correctly, right? Now, yeah, since it is, we are now, we need to modify this thing based on parent. So I'm not adding anything here, because the data that we will send from our main card will all automatically get passed that way, right? So this one, I am not changing anything here. I will tell you why I'm not changing. So leave everything as blank, because we have already data source, and there's no binding that as such we need to follow here. So just leave it like that only. Here you can write contacts, and here you can select contact fields. Let me actually do one thing. Let me pass contact here and then check data, right? This contact phone, delete it. Cannot is showing. Let's quickly add that. This is the same thing we did in the last class. I'm just using the same because I want to show the contact. Here template we need to update. Again, if it is a flyout, it start with flyout. Flyout, great. Item SLDs. This one we need to use. Okay. One more thing, all the templates that you are seeing here, they are coming with package. Okay, so that's why they have a dependency on package itself. That means if, let's say, there is an update that Velocity does, and they added some modification in the templates, so there are risks to use those templates directly. So what is the best practice is, you need to clone this template and then use it, even you're not doing any changes. Okay, this is the one reason. Second reason is, since this is a common, let's say if your project is having the common code which multiple teams are working, and they all refer to the same template, then you don't have flexibility to change it. Why? Because this template is now scoped with other projects also. So if you change it, any template specific or any package specific thing if you're using which is related to the data, then try to make it cloned, even you don't do any changes, and append your team or your project name in front of that, so it will be easy when you actually deploy it, right? So those changes we usually follow in the project. We never use the same template which comes with the package. Okay, we always do the clone and then use it, because we don't want any risks as such. Okay, all right, so that one we did. Now we just need to check the data. Just keep an eye, we have an option to add flyouts again here, right? Even we have selected type as flyout, and here also given an option. So I will come into that point, but yeah, let's just take a preview. Yeah, it will not work until we activate it. Okay, so let's talk about the activation. You need to click on this activate. So basically you need to activate all the card first. So here we have only one card. So this one card we need to activate. Okay, then we need to activate this our main layout also. So there are two steps we need to follow in terms of doing the activation. First, we need to activate this, and then we need to activate the main source. Okay, and then if you maybe it will not show because it is not part of any UI. But let's see. Yeah, it will not show because there's no UI as such involved, like because we are now in a flyout template, so there is no UI, so it will not render the data, right? So let's do one thing. Let's go back to our main script, and here we will configure the flyout that we have created. But make sure before you do it, you need to first activate both of the cards and the main structure also. If there are multiple cards and you don't want to show anything, you can leave that particular card as deactivated. But whatever you want to show, make sure you activate, and then you also activate the main layout. Okay, so this thing we need to follow. Then we need to go back to our main script. Here, this one which we have used, let me actually remove, otherwise it will show, or let it show also. So let's click here, and here you will see something called flyouts. Right here, we need to search our flyout name, which is all contact. I think to refresh it. Yeah. We have activated and we haven't refreshed. So this time it will show a list. Okay, in that we need to go and search for that. So here it is, all contact info. Okay, I will leave this thing as blank because we need, this is used to send the data. I will tell you where the data binding we can do. So we have added this in energy. We also need to do the same in the technology, right? These are the stages that we have created in the last class. Same thing here also, we need to do this. Okay, now let's take a preview. You can also click on this link, so it will open in a new page. Okay, now if you see, if I click here, it is still showing account navigational. I think something wrong in the flow that we have added. Let's check what is wrong here. So data source we have not added, contact we have added here. If I take a preview, you can see the data is coming. It should be designed here. Okay, let me check this. So I think this one is not correct. We have given action. So we use item and SLDS also. So see, if your data is work, if you're saying that there is an entry in data log and you're saying that your preview is not showing the correct view, then you need to tune your templates. That is the only option which probably not set correctly. So you can see now it is showing like this. So we need to actually select the correct template. Let me just do it. SLDS, 3D SLDS. Yeah, now you can see the data is rendering, but there's an additional action bar which it is showing. So let's check why it is showing. This all things is governed by the template only. Okay, so all those things we need to take care when we actually design the template, and we need to only use that template that is required in our use. So let's use no action SLDs. Okay, now it is working fine. Same process to activation. We need to first activate this card and then our main layout. Okay, then we need to go back to our main script and refresh it. And now if I click here, we will see a pop-up will open where additional information are clearly visible. Same, if you click outside or somewhere, it will, it will goes if you click here again. Okay, so this way, if you have multiple contacts enabled, you can simply click on this and the flyout will get enabled. Now, let's do the configuration in such a way that we want to send information from our main layout to flyout. Okay, so here, if I go back to the flyouts, okay, here if you check, I have given the, let me deactivate it first. Now, if I go back, I should select the parent here. Okay, and you will see all those things will automatically gone. And here also I need to clear this. Now the problem is I can't actually verify at this level because it doesn't have anything, right? So yeah, let's close it and run it. Click on activate. Now we need to do the configuration at this level. Okay, we need to click here. And now at this level, so see what I have configured previously, I have named contact here. That means that only information we need to pass. So for that, first we need to make sure if valid information is passed to this level. So let me actually open this. You can see only account information are there in the data. That means since there's no contact information, so this card cannot actually bypass the same thing. Getting it? Let me actually recap again. In our flyout, this it is requiring actual contacts. Okay, because in the card we have used contact, email, contact, first name, last name, and phone. So the JSON that should return at this level needs to have those nodes. Okay, but the JSON that we have in our main card is only account information. Why? Because we have restricted at this level. So first thing that we need to do, we need to remove it. Okay, so that it sent all the particular files. Okay, now you will see all it is sending. Now, since it is sending all the files and the JSON tree is completely changed. Okay, the JSON tree is changed. So these value will also not work. Why? Because if you now check, this is the actual definition of your addresses. Okay, so that is means we need to again update those addresses. So let me quickly do it. I will tell you again what I'm doing. Let me first add those things. Actually, name and number we don't need. Name and number we need to update here, right? So it is account name, same also account name and account number. Right? Okay, now let's delete old fields. And same, you can change the naming here also, label up. Industry, name, and phone. Okay, so now if you check here we need to give the name of the contact, actually which data that we are sending to that node, which is our contact information, which is this node. This we need to give the same name here also. Okay, sorry, not here, here. Contact, that one we need to give. Okay, so that means, let me recap what I did basically. So at this level we have removed, see, we have created one card for account and one card for contact. So in the last class I told you, like, since we only need to display contact information, sorry, account information, so we don't need to send entire contact detail also, right? So that's why we have only added a shorticon account related tree. But since we are now calling a flyout which require contact information as well, so we need to first remove that restriction so that it have the access of entire JSON. Okay, that first change I need to do. Since now I have changed the JSON, so I also need to reflect whatever fields I have binded to displaying the account information also. So that's why I added a complete tree, like you can see here, right? Same here, since our flyout require only contact, so we need to define this contact also here, right? So this is one I have given. So let's do one thing. Let's first activate this. Yeah, it is activated. Let's quickly take a preview. It is not showing this technology energy. Yeah, actually, I think let me do one thing. Let me open that particular account and change the industry type to technology, because as of now it is industry, I think. Otherwise, we need to again do the same changes to industry section also. It is technology only. Mm, oh, actually, we have not activated this, is it? Yeah, we have to add a, account info is there. Let me delete and then again add. The problem with these cards is we cannot actually debug it. If there is any exception happened, we can't actually debug those things. So yeah, see, it is not showing. So there's no option to check the debugging and verify those details. This is account information. Remove this. Okay, now let me check. Okay, got it, got it. See, I got why it is not showing. We have to also update this, right? This industry. That is why. Again, we need to give the contact data source. That is, that's a problem actually. If you update the tree, you also need to take care. You are updating it to all places, right? In there, we need to update that. Okay. Now we can remove this. You can see now the this layout is showing. If you click here, okay, now it is not sending this data back to parent. That we need to also check why it is happening. Go back and check if I added parent here or not. Yeah, parent we have added. Oh, there's one thing that I forgot to tell you. Actually, this flyout doesn't work like this. You need to send this information. You need to set this. Then in the dot, we need to write contact. Contacts. just contact, right? So see, we need to add scope dot data and then this. Now let's quickly check whether it is working. Just a second, let me check this. It worked like this in the last, or it is working. Data source data. No. So I will check this why it is not working. In most of the time it worked like this way only. I just need to write source and then the data source data source object children. Let me try this also. I will check what is the correct syntax of displaying this. I think this is the only way where it should work, right? Source object data. Okay, yeah, now you can see it is showing. Actually, we need to use source object and then we need to append the actual information that we want to send. So this is the actual syntax of sending this. One more thing here, actually, if you want to only send specific information like this name and first name, then you can directly append and do the same transactions here. Let me actually recap on this again. Here we need to change. First of all, if you want to configure those fields, you need to first give something here, right? Otherwise JSON will not respond and you cannot configure those fields. So you can probably use the same data source that you have used in your parent, and then you need to configure all the tree that you have given here. Okay, then you need to, once you have verified your data binding, then you need to convert that back to parent. Okay, once you do this, then you need to go back to your account script, and here you need to update the source as, you need to go to the flyouts, add a flyout, and in the source you need to write this scope dot object and then the name of your tree. Okay, this, make sure this accept the actual tree. This can't be a direct name. Okay, after this we can give any name here if we want. Okay, but this needs to have a tree. Okay, parent node actually. So same thing you can see here also. If you go back, this information is displaying correctly. So that is the purpose of flyouts. It basically used to display additional information that supports card also. Now if you go back here, if you go back here, and if I deactivate it, you see here there is an option where we again configure any other flyouts also. That means if I click here, let's say, okay, and at this level if I click, it will again open another flyout. Getting it? But since velocity doesn't have any impact on it, what I mean by that, see, we have this card. Okay, I have clicked here, this is the name. I have clicked, it opened me a pop-up of additional flyouts, right? This is your card, which is layout. This is flyout one. Okay, now if you, let's say you have 10 or 3 records, and here if you click, it will again open a pop-up, multiple records. So do you think this process is actually saving users time, or it is user friendly or UI friendly? No, right? So velocity, even if in this also you can configure another flyout, velocity will never stop you to go with this approach. But what I do basically, we only need to stop after this level. We should not configure this. And even if we required, here you can give a button or action. That action will simply take them to any OS or even a new layout also. Okay, they can simply redirect to a new page or new window where they will, whatever you're following here, there you can start it from this stage. Okay, then you can probably define multiple layouts if you don't want to create any OS for it. Okay, so that is the basic structure we need to follow. Don't make the UI that level drilled, because if someone is clicking, then they need to check this. It will not be easy, and the purpose of card and flyout is to display information in less space. And since you are now providing options to display more information, it will always be clumsy job for the person who's using it, right? So we need to stop it at this level. And when required, you can redirect to any OS. You can also redirect to any object also, right? You can also redirect to any object. You can also open any VF pages as such, right? Those things we can do. So now let's check how we can create a action here, right? So for that, we again need to go back here. You will see there is an option called actions. Okay, here we need to define the type of action, which object type it is belonging to. It if it is a belonging to a specific object type, that we can write, and then we can also add it. You will also see there is something called custom action. Apart from these action, there is something called custom action. Custom actions are something which, let me actually open it. Custom actions are where we directly need to give the URL. If we have any URL, we just want to give the URL, and we need to take them to that particular page. That we can do, right? Here we can also define the nature. Do we want to open that URL in the same window or in a different window? So that is the custom action. The next section is OS section, where we just need to provide the OmniScript related information, like what is the OmniScript, what is the icon, SLDS icon, right? You need to give here again the same name, which type of name you want to give, and here you need to define the OmniScript, whatever OmniScript that you have, that OmniScript you can give, and here you also need to take which layout you want to send that. Okay, and here you can enable LWC if you want to require, but for that you need to first enable LWC at this level, right? And then you can define the name also. Okay, so these are the basics things we basically can do with the help of cards and the flyouts. Okay, those actions again, most of the time those action we only use for the redirecting purpose. Okay, we should not follow, let's say if we want to make any DML or something, then we need to take user to a VF page. Okay, that VF page we should handle those things, because the purpose of cards is not something where they can do any DML or they can do any updation. They just we want to display summarized information, and that information, if they want to explain, if they want to drill into it, we can use flyouts. But after one flyout level, if they again want to do any detailed information, then after we can redirect into a Salesforce web page or any LWC components also. Okay, or any simple redirect them to a object page also. Okay, so that we can also do with the help of this. You just need to define what is the object name and what is the ID. Okay, what ID you need to take. Okay, you can define this, then it will automatically take them to a ID page. So that basically we can do. Okay, so this is the one thing. Again, you can configure the list that you're seeing. This is nothing but the velocity action that we have created, right? Account details, all those things. So that we can also configure the velocity actions, right? This velocity actions. We created one velocity action for account details, right? This the same thing you will see here also. Account details. So those are also supported. You can also add this, and then they will directly take to that page. Okay. So those are the actions and those are things that we can support at this level. Now I pause for any question. In your project, you need to make this thing, the assignment that I will give. You need to, in the header label, you need to give two fields. One is the task, second is the account. When user click on the task, they need to show all related tasks. The task will have a list, and then you need to render all those lists. When you click on a particular task, you need to show any related list, or if any related list in the task, you can also show some additional information of this task. In that flyout, don't use any external source. You need to use the same source that is used at this level. Okay, second is the account, which if you click on it, then the same UI will render, and now this time it will show the account informations. Okay, and then again, if you click on account, you need to display the contacts. All right. Footer, maybe you can add any copyright syntax where you just need to define all right reserved kind of thing that you can define in the footer. Okay, so that is something. This is the assignment that you need to do. Any questions on tryouts or the entire topic? Okay, if no question, let me actually now discuss about the deployment. So deployment wise, see, there are three ways where we can deploy our components related to the velocity. First is we can directly go. Let me show you. Open any OS. This jet that we're going to discuss, this deployment process we use when we need to deploy it from a local developer environment to a developer environment. I think I already discussed in a few classes back. So let's say if I need to deploy this particular component, I just need to check this checkbox and click on this download button. Okay, what this do, this basically search for all the dependencies. Okay, so now it is searching all the dependencies, and yeah, you can see something is not working here. So let's try some other, let's say this one. So it will download the dependencies related to that particular OS. And what dependency it will not download is something related to Salesforce, like Apex classes. Those it will not download, right? If you have created any remote action and that remote action is calling any Apex class, then this export wizard will not able to extract the class level information. Okay, it will only extract the OS, the related like data raptors and any integration procedure if you have used. So those things it will download. You need to click on next button and then export it. You can also write any versions or any description as such if you want, and you can export that. It will give you a JSON file. Same, you need to click, let's say this is your source org, and then you need to go to your target org, then you need to click on this import, and then you need to drag the same file that you have exported. Okay, to the next. If it is a new file, then it will show it like that, and if it is an existing file, it will take the same file and then upload it. Okay, so this is the basic changes that you can do. This level of deployment we will do when we are working on a local environments, like let's say you have 10 developers and all of them are having their own scratch org, and some of the information is existing on a different org, then you can do this thing. We can't do these things when we move further like QA or SIT branches, that we can't do. Okay, this also doesn't include any Salesforce related changes. Like I said, Apex classes and your other backend changes, any pick list that you have created, any LWC that you have used, those will not taken care here. For those level of changes, you need to switch to the second deployment, which is using IDX tools. So I have already opened this IDX tool. Let me actually show you how you can use IDX. Let me stop share and then I will show you. I have already actually added that link to LMS. Let me log in. Just a second. All right. So see, IDX tool, this I have already given a link in the LMS. You can go and download it from here. You will not, if you search IDX Workbench, you will in Google, you will not get any option. They will not redirect you to this page because it's a closed environment. And even you don't need any login to access it. You just need to click on that link and you can just click on this download button. It will take you to a page and it will get downloaded, right? Based on that, you need to select which environment you're using, right? So once you download this, now let's check what all the options that it have. Then actually you need to click on project first. Okay, I'm just clicking here. The first thing it asks you is to set up a repository. It could be your local environment repository. You need to click on new repository. Here you need to define a folder name. Okay, this folder name, it could be your local environment folder, or you can also give any git URL also. In that case, it will take everything from that git. Okay, for that you need to provide a get URL or any if you're using Visual Studio, then Visual Studio URL you also need to provide here. Okay, but it should be in this format. Okay, username and password, and then you should use it. If you're not aware, then your data type, I mean that team who handles with Git, they will provide you the login URLs. If you not sure which this handles, right? DevOps team will basically handle help you in providing this URLs and the exit repository. So why they give this option? Because if you want to use your local system, where if I let's say select any this folder, let's say I have created a new folder and selected this, but at that time it will only take my changes, which is blank at this initial level, right? So there will be no files as such. But if you select Git, then they have the entire structure. Okay, I will tell you where this structure will help. So that's the first thing that you need to do. Second thing, you need to take your source org. Source org is something where your data existing. Okay, maybe where it will be your developer org, where you are doing the actual enhancements or any bug fixing. So that you need to first do by clicking on new environment. Okay, and then you need to authenticate and then access it. I already have this, so it is showing like this. Target org is something where you want to deploy. Again, the things that we are doing, it will take IDX to deploy it. Okay, it is not something we are committing any branch change. Okay, the second approach that we are discussing, it will take your Git repository name correctly, but it will not deploy your changes to a Git. It will deploy your changes to target org. Okay, so that's why it is asking what is the target org. This we can use when we need to actually take a backup, or we need to entirely move all the steps that are related to any org. Okay, then at this level in the project, you can define your Jira number or any unique ID or any project related information. Okay, once you do the save, now let's I did the save. Now what it will do, it will now retrieve the data. Okay, and it will do the same thing if I do the refresh. Now let me actually only refresh the source, and it will take around 5 minutes to retrieve everything. Okay, so yeah, that we need to take care. Once we do it, it will take around 5 minutes to retrieve everything, and then we need to select which type of requirement we need to do. It is not working. Let me do one thing. Let me also, if you click here, it will take you to that org which you have logged in. Okay, so you can see my target org is there. Same for source also. Sorry, source org is this and target org is this. You can click on this and then it will show you. And then to go back. Great. Create a new project. This time I'm using this project name, let's say new project. And let me actually use the same project. and then it will ask you what type of data you want to retrieve. Let's say my requirement is I want to retrieve the Omni scripts, right? So you need to type Omni scripts, and maybe I want to, let's say, LWC also. Let's say this and data raptor, these two things we want to use, right? And in there I want to use Salesforce side, I want to use Lightning Web Component, Lightning Component Bundle. All right, and then I click on the fetch records. So LWC, it will quickly show what are the LWC components, and for data raptor it may take some time to load those things, right? Now if you see, it is now loading all the data related to that. So what we are doing at this moment is we are now retrieving whatever we have in our source org. Okay, so it source org has only one LWC, so it quickly loaded that. Now it is searching for all the Omni scripts and data raptors. So it may take some time to display all those things, right? Mm, let me check why it is not taking it. See, those type of things are you always face, because this IDX also sometimes show this type of behavior. I have selected data raptor and all, but it is only displaying the LWC components. Anyways, ideally what it will show you a list of all those two things. Okay, and then you need to select it, and then you need to select which one you want to deploy, and then you need to do the same. Okay, and then you need to do the save here also, and then it will retrieve all those things for you. Here it will take some time to load. It is retrieving this from target. It is checking all those dependencies if there is any. So it will take around 5 minutes. So that's the second type of deployment. Meanwhile, it is doing it. Let me tell you about third deployment, which is related to Git. Okay, for that, any repository or data you are using from any third party, which is any branch related deployments, in that case, first of all, you need to make sure that all the changes that we are doing, they are JSON related changes. Okay, they are not something which is metadata changes. Now, why I'm saying it, let's say we want to deploy LWC component. For that, we need to deploy the metadata. If we want to deploy any classes, we need to deploy the metadata and the class name, right? But here it's all about the actual data that you are deploying, right? Because in the backend, they have make any objects, they have make records. Those records you are deploying. So those things you need to take care when you're actually creating the branch. In the branch, you need to create folders for those records. Let's say for data raptor, there will be a folder for data raptor, and there will be entry which data raptor you're doing to deploy. Okay, so rest remains the same, but here you need to deploy the actual JSON file, which is fields of that particular record, and then deploy it. So the process of will remain the same, like how we normally deploy our Apex slash changes, Apex LWC changes, Aura changes. But here the only difference is it will not be part of your metadata. It will be part of your actual record data. Okay. It may take some time to load all this. Just wait till this happening. Okay, it happened. So see, this time it is showing all the plus options. That means in the target branch, these are not having any data. I mean, these are the new files that we are trying to upload. Okay, so if there is any change happen, then you will see a grade minus option. Okay, then we need to take this. Once you have done, you need to verify that the changes and everything that you're doing is correctly or not. Okay, once you get verified, you also need to take care this also, right? Source, right? Source you can also check. You can also update it, but make sure you're not changing anything at this level, otherwise it will be a problem. Okay, so that we need to take care. And then we need to select which file we want to select for the deployment. After doing the changes, we have verified all those things, then we need to go do the action and then need to do the migrate. If you do migrate with dependency, then what it will do basically, it will also deploy all the dependencies related to that. We should always select migrate option, not migrate with dependency option. Okay, so what it is doing, it is now uh, sending everything to our target branch. Okay, okay, so it may take some time to do this. Your IDX will always behave this slow. So it's not, uh, that's how it worked actually. Okay, so it is doing that. I'm not sure how much time it will take. took enough time to do those changes. So yeah, those are the things I want to discuss. Let's break today. Okay, so after this step it will show you that the things get deployed, and we just need to go and check the target org, and it will show that the deployment is successfully happened. Okay, so those are the things that we take care about the deployments. When we actually do the branch deployment, then I can't show you the branch actually because it's project related thing, but you can refer this link here. It will show you the related migrations and everything. Okay, comparison and all those things I have already discussed how it will show. So yeah, you can see those things, right? Migrate dependencies, so it will also migrate the dependencies, right? And then you can check all those options, right? This way it will show you the differences if there is any difference, like this mark, it will show if there is any differences. You can again change anything there also, but it is not recommended. Otherwise you will see any failed deployment happens also, right? Those are the those are in the backend, those are nothing but records, right? Those are the record with a unique ID. So that's why they are just a JSON files. So that you need to make sure. Okay, all those things basically are there. Check. Yeah, you can see it. It's saying all those things migrated. Okay, so those things are now moved to our source target org. Okay, so this is about that thing. Any questions? You can also check comparisons between what are the, since all new, so you will see green options. If there is any changes, then you will still see this option, at the rate option, right? This gray color option. Okay. All right, let's connect on Monday, and then we will discuss about some code related stuffs. Okay, thanks for joining.